Hello, my name is Sean Ivory, and I'm one of the composers of Beneath the African Sky. I wrote it with Paul Caldwell, a good friend and colleague who I've written a lot of music with over the years. This particular piece was written in 2009 for Robin Lana and the Cincinnati Youth Choir. It was the second piece that we wrote for them. The previous year we had written a piece called Witness, which is, both of these have to do with the Rwandan genocide in 1994. In Witness, we were trying to say, hey, everyone in the world needs to pay attention to what's going on here. In Beneath the African Sky, it's a much more personal story about a little girl named Clementine Wamaria, who is separated from her family in the chaos after the genocide began, and winds up in a refugee camp for a number of years, largely by herself. And it's not until about 6 years later that she is adopted by a family in Chicago. And that's, without going into lots of detail, that's basically how Paul became aware of the story, was his connections in Chicago. With this piece, we wanted to write a lullaby for a little girl who never had one during that time period. One of the features of the piece, Paul wrote the text himself. Paul is a real genius at that sort of thing, and I really love what he did with the text. We wrote the piece together, and I wrote the accompaniment. The accompaniment has a lot of the 2 against 3 sort of feel in the rhythm. And I think what I was trying to do was to evoke the sound of a thumb piano, an imbira, or in Rwanda, I think they call it an ikembe. So when you hear that rhythm in the piano part, you can imagine someone playing on that instrument. It's a kind of a solitary sort of sounding instrument when you hear it. Paul and I have written a lot of music over the years that tell stories about issues in the world that we feel are important people know about. And Beneath the African Sky was our chance to touch this horrific but also just very powerful story. Thanks for listening. I really hope you enjoy the piece.